You don't have to be naturally fearless or good with change in order to lead transformation. In fact, you don't have to like it. Because the truth is, change enthusiasts, those that step into a space or into an initiative or into a change ready to lead it, they're not born, they're trained. In this video, I'm showing you exactly how anyone, that's right, I said anyone, can build the skills and embrace the mindset to better navigate through change and lead others through it. I know you want to hear this one. Let's dive in. There are too many people that I've encountered and that I know exist that believe that people are just naturally wired for change. They're just wired to adapt and that so many others aren't. And so what it does when you believe this myth, and yes, it's a myth, it excuses you from harnessing, developing, and practicing the mindset and the skills to help you better navigate change and lead others through it. But the truth of the matter is change agility, it's not a personality trait. It's actually a learned skill. And I think it's those that show up and do it really well have been trained for years, if not decades, maybe even before taking the role. So many leaders that I know who lead large transformations, large changes, who work in the change management discipline are individuals that grew up in military families, who have grown accustomed to changing homes, to changing schools, to meeting new friends. And so they've had the opportunity to get trained in change, to get trained in disruption. And that's setting them apart as they now move into their corporate and professional lives. But the truth still remains, this is a trainable skill. So the more that you can find ways to learn, to put yourself in the red hot center of a lot of change, of a lot of complexity, of a lot of disruption, you're going to have the opportunity to fine tune that skill. And I mean, the truth of the matter is, yes, I'm the world's leading expert on change enthusiasm because I invented it, but I had to get trained to do that. Right? And I was trained to do that through going through huge multi-billion-dollar acquisitions, multiple of them, feeling that discomfort, feeling the pain that change so often inspired, and learning how to move my way through it. And because I've experienced it multiple times, my resilience muscle and my strength in this idea of change enthusiasm has grown. So let's break down what it means to be a change enthusiast. So this is an individual like myself who can identify and recognize the difficulty that happens, that is inspired when going through a lot of change, right? It is the fear, it's the frustration, it's the fatigue, it's the shock, it's the overwhelm. They're the individuals that can recognize it, that acknowledge it, and that welcome and trust they exist for a reason, to move them, guide them towards their opportunities, to learn, to grow, and to connect. And then once they understand what these opportunities might be, they never lose their agency. They never lose their agency to choose how they show up, how they experience change. You know, when I tell people that I bring change enthusiasm to the world, that I own a company called Change Enthusiasm Global, there's an assumption that I'm just always enthusiastic whenever there's change. Change, yes, let's go. The reality is change enthusiasm and a change enthusiast, that is the promise of the practice of the mindset and the practice of going through change, because it starts with the difficult emotions, right? I still get angry, I still get fearful, I still get anxious when going through a lot of change. Trust me, you can ask my team. But I recognize that's a part of my GPS system, right? These are guideposts, this is fuel, and I have the agency, the power to transform it. Right? And I know they're not always going to go away. The more that you practice these steps, the steps are signal, opportunity, and choice, the more times you practice it, that's when the enthusiasm is going to be born, right? So that's truly what a change enthusiast is. It's not about performative positivity or performative joy. It's about recognizing the difficulty that change can inspire, but knowing that difficulty is pointing us towards the best opportunities we have to grow, to learn, to connect, to move our change initiatives, our change programs even faster and that we have the agency to choose it. Let's talk about, how do I start training my inner change enthusiast? Maybe you're sitting there watching this video like, okay, no one will ever call me a change enthusiast because I hate it. I hate change. And there's so much that's happening in my world today. So help me, Cassandra. Okay, let's do it. Let me help you. So there's 3 simple starting practices to become a little bit more of a change enthusiast and be able to recognize when you're feeling that really difficult depth of emotion. The first is really about increasing your emotional self-awareness. Having a daily check-in when you're asking yourself, how am I feeling? What am I feeling? Right? And I do this through my practice of journaling. I also invite individuals to do this in their workplace, to actually share when somebody asks you how you doing, to actually share truly 2 feelings that you're experiencing. Having that internal check-in is going to help you become more in tune with that compass, with that guidance system, so you can practice the first step of change enthusiasm more often and in a much better way. The second is to practice reframing stressful situations. And maybe you're in one right now. Take a beat to understand, how might this thing that I've been presented with, that I'm struggling with, that's happening around me, how might this be working for me as opposed to against me? And just ideate a couple ways where you are invited into an opportunity. And it could be an opportunity to start looking for a different role. It could be an opportunity to nurture a relationship with a manager or with a colleague, but some way, somehow, when you're experiencing a stress moment, there is opportunity for you in it. So try reframing what that stress moment might be from an opportunistic standpoint. And the third is to do a weekly reflection on when you were maybe surprised about an emotion that you experienced. Think back to, across the week, maybe when you had your deepest emotional moment, maybe you had an outburst, maybe it was a day that was just in a lull, and reflect on, what was the meaning of that? What was that emotion trying to tell me? That emotion that maybe showed up a few times in a week. And when I had that down day, what was it trying to tell me? And reflect on that. Do that every single week. What these exercises are inviting you to do is to become more in tune with you and the wisdom that's flowing through you in the form of emotion. I guarantee you it is wisdom. It is wisdom. These emotions exist for a reason. Trust that they're there to guide you, to serve you, to anchor you, to fuel you forward. And it's high time you start listening. And now for the best part, the freebie, the giveaway. Click the link below. You're going to get a free chapter of my book, Change Enthusiasm, How to Harness the Power of Emotion for Leadership and Success. It's going to take you through the mindset, some tips, some tactics, and it's fully for free. So click the link below. And until we meet again, keep feeling, keep inviting others to feel as well, and keep rocking.